This is a 1972 Dodge Challenger RT, 425 horsepower, 3-speed automatic, rear-wheel drive, king of the drag strip. And over here, we have the 2018 Dodge Challenger GT. This is a 305 horsepower, 8-speed automatic, all-wheel drive Challenger. The question is though, what's the purpose of this car?
All right, here we go in the Challenger GT. Push button start. And it awakens. I wouldn't say roars to life. This particular model has a lot of bells and whistles on it. It's got the rear cross traffic alert that you just heard go off. It's got a nice huge screen with the Uconnect. This is one of the better ones on the market today. It's huge and it feels just like a phone screen. Navigation works well. It's pinch to zoom. And the sound system is great. There's a lot of options in here. The car does a few weird things though. So we'll cover some of those as we go forward. Like it likes to turn on this heated steering wheel and the seats even if you didn't ask for it when the temperature drops below a certain temperature. So right now we're going to try and find us a twisty road to try out the Challenger's chassis. This is a very big vehicle and it feels big. It's the largest of the pony car, muscle car groups. You know, you've got the Mustang, you've got the Camaro, and you've got the Challenger. And the Challenger is built on the same chassis that they build the Dodge Charger and the Chrysler 300 on. So it's a 2-door coupe that's sitting on a 4-door full-size chassis, which means it's going to be a little bit more bloated than the other two. So the Challenger GT comes with a 3.6 liter V6 engine. It makes 305 horsepower along with an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is much improved over the old 5-speed automatic that you used to get with the V6 when the Challenger first debuted around 2008. The car now, the GT, comes with a sport mode, which disengages traction control, changes the shift points to hold the gears longer, and gives you supposedly a more sporty feel in the wheel, although honestly you can't really tell the difference in steering effort in the steering wheel. Now the turn-in on the Challenger GT is, oh boy, is heavy. It's the best way I can describe it. It definitely, and it has a very overactive imagination when it comes to the automatic braking that this car features. So this does have some safety features, and that car passing us coming the other way triggered a brake warning. So while it has a lot of cool features, some of them they just leave a little to be desired in the category of sort of refinement, I would say. Wow, this person is taking the 25-mile-per-hour speed limit very seriously, as we are currently doing 23 miles per hour. This week on public radio, how to drive very slowly on a road. And this is how you do that. We certainly don't want to upset the car or the local constabulary. Constabulary by over-aggressive driving. Therefore, try not to touch the gas pedal. Just let the car coast. in manual mode, the car will not shift for you if you don't shift yourself. You can pull down to shift up, and then you push forward to shift down. Now, I like it that way because it feels like you're pulling it into second gear to go up, and then you're throwing it up into third gear to downshift. But a lot of manufacturers do it the opposite way, so it's a little getting used to on that. Back to the paddles. They are average responsiveness, I would say, for an automatic. It's not a DCT or anything like that. So they do respond, but just not immediately. All right, let's see how the Challenger does on a twisty road. You definitely feel the weight. The brakes are pretty good, though. There's a lot of body lean. Now, a lot of that is going to be attributed to the tires. They're all-season 19-inch tires, 235s, but they're 55 series sidewall, so they're just more proponent. They're more apt to roll on themselves than they are to grip. But that's owing to the Challenger GT's duty as a 4-season car. So it's just not going to be an RT, an SRT, a Scat Pack, or even a Hellcat on twisty roads. And honestly, Dodge has sort of given up on trying to make a road course Challenger. They don't have, I mean, the TA is probably the Heritage, the closest one to road course quality cars. Otherwise, they just have understood that they are the muscle/pony car that is great on the drag strip, is great on long trips, is a boulevard cruiser, stoplight to stoplight, and they do it great. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't all have to be ZL1 1LEs. Every car can have a different purpose, and the Challenger's has been, it's awesome styling. It's a large vehicle. It'll accommodate large people, at least in the front seat. Back seat, not so much. But it will accommodate larger people, and it will definitely give you that boulevard cruiser with the feel of a stoplight to stoplight muscle car. But the turn in is it's not crisp, and the body lean is pronounced, but it does want to hustle. It really does. You got to give the Challenger GT some credit that it wants to play with you. And this blue paint, I got to tell you, is really nice. It, depending on how the light hits it, it looks purple in the shade, in the shadows. It's bright blue and metallic in the sunlight. It really does. It suits the car perfectly well, and it's just beautiful. And the quality on the paint is actually really well too. There's no orange peel. They really did a good job with that. So I really love these retro gauges. They're just awesome. But the only problem is if you notice here on the right side, this number 2 is the gear indicator. The problem is that it's almost impossible to find. And when you have an 8-speed automatic and you're trying to downshift or upshift the gears, and you have an engine like this one that isn't very loud because it's a 6, it's not an 8, you're not going to get that rumbling exhaust in your ears. It's really hard to see that. For some reason, you can't get it right in the middle, and that would be awesome. If it just showed you the gear selector like right below or to the left of the miles per hour, that would be so much better. But that's probably the only downfall here in the instrument cluster, which is also otherwise customizable. You could put your oil pressure in here if you wanted to as well. So, opening the door, you've got the weirdest thing about this car, that this door handle is not up here. And I'll tell you, everybody we've had in the car this week has tried to get out of the car, has reached up here for the door handle, and has not known it's down here. And by putting it down here, they miss all of this space. So there's this tiny little cubby back here, which is just big enough for my fingers. And then there's a cup holder up front. But all of this space is completely wasted. And the other thing is that these windows are both auto down, but not auto up. This car is almost $40,000. It needs to have both auto up and auto down. this actually feels great when you're actually using it. You can also use the paddles, but only the top half of the paddles. I don't know if you can see this, but let me show you. This is the volume control button back here, which is occupying the lower half of the paddle. So the only part of the paddle you get is the top tip. On the other side, it does the same thing, but it's the seek up and down. And it's just weird. It's like they tried to do too much on the wheel and ended up occupying that real estate. Now, one important thing, this car is pretty much fully loaded. I think we're just missing the sunroof. It has this adaptive cruise control right here. It's got 2 sets of cruise control, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to screw this up and you could run into somebody. This is just regular cruise control. So you put that one on, it says cruise control ready up in the screen. But if you hit this one, it'll turn the regular cruise control off, and then it says ACC, or automatic cruise control, or adaptable cruise control is ready. This one will slow you down, and you can increase or decrease the distance between the car in front of you and your car. But this one won't. And if you get used to this and you hit this one by accident and you think the car's going to slow down and it doesn't, you could be in for a fender bender. Iconic fuel door. I mean, just, this is straight out of the 70s. It's awesome. And yet there's still a cap underneath. It's 2018, guys. It's like time to go with the capless system. I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but it is nice to look at least. All right, so one nice thing is if you close this and you happen to leave your keys in it, oh, it just opens it back up for you. It's really a nice interior. The size of it, though, doesn't really fit the car. You would feel like this should be a bigger interior given the size of the entire vehicle, because it is a big car. The front seats are fine. The rear seats are very, very, cramped is probably a good word to use.
At the beginning of this video, we asked the question, who is the Challenger GT for? And after spending a week with the car, we think we've come up with the answer to that question. So the Challenger GT is really for somebody who likes the muscle car culture. They like the design, they like the name, they like the history of the car, but they have a more practical side. So maybe they live in the snow belt and they need all-wheel drive. Maybe they appreciate the better fuel economy of the V6, or the lower cost to purchase it and the lower cost to insure it. What Dodge has done is create a niche here that its competitors don't offer. So you can't get an all-wheel drive EcoBoost Mustang, you can't get an all-wheel drive Camaro V6, but kind of like the Dodge minivan, the Dodge Caravan started the minivan segment, maybe, just maybe, the Challenger GT will start an entire segment of all-wheel drive muscle cars. And we can only hope and pray that somebody offers one with a V8 and a manual. Please.
2018 design took inspiration from the original Hemi Challenger, but when you put them side by side, you can really start to notice the differences. First of all, the width. We have about 70¼ inches on the front of this car. In this car over here, we have 69 inches. I know it's only 1¼ inch difference, but visually it really makes the cars look different. Also, the bottom here, you got the fill-in from these safety features of the bumper, where you didn't have these issues back in 1972, and you can see how the front mouth is just much more pronounced than the new car. Also, let's go in the back. Here, again, not having the safety issues with the bumper and the bottom, you got that very wide but narrow bumper stance, making this back end look very badass. Versus a new car, because of the bumper issue, it's much fatter and just kind of loses that coolness, that badass look to it.
Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button right there. And check out the rest of our channel for more great videos.